Before you can effectively employ any sort of diet or do this diet break or reverse dieting effectively, you need to have first established a baseline, healthy, balanced diet with a proper macronutrient ratio for you and your body type. Hello, Aaron Kubitz, personal trainer, functional aesthetics EC, helping average guys perform better inside and outside the gym. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about diet breaks, reverse dieting, and how to sustain long-term weight loss success. Most goals in life do not happen in a linear fashion, and weight loss is no exception. While losing 5 to 10 pounds might be relatively easy and could be done within a month or two, losing larger amounts of weight, 15, 20, 30, 50, or even more pounds of body fat, can be a little bit more difficult, and there are going to be more hiccups and potential roadblocks along the way. After the initial weight loss, you will inevitably find that as the diet progresses, it becomes harder to continue to lose body fat. And there is a number of reasons for this. Your body is a complex organism with many different chemical reactions happening at all different times, and its primary goal is to keep you alive and to sustain the activities of daily living. So most of the calories that your body burns is just to keep your organs functioning, just to keep you breathing, your heart pumping, things like that, and your hormonal processes going. As little as 2 weeks into a diet, your metabolic rate can slow down, meaning that you're conserving more calories because you have fewer coming in. You also might notice that you, or actually not notice, but will often happen, is that you will inadvertently begin to move less as a result of your body trying to conserve calories. So even though you're still working out in the gym, you're still burning calories there, which I do want to note, as I've said in other videos, the primary purpose of exercise is not to burn calories. That's a very ineffective way to achieve your fitness goals. All exercise is going to burn some calories, but that is not the primary reason you're exercising. You want to use a combination of your exercise and your diet to achieve a calorie deficit if fat loss is your goal, but the more important component of that is your diet. And what you actually want to be using your exercise for is to improve athletic performance and to increase lean muscle mass, along with things like increasing flexibility and mobility, right? But those would be things that would be included in the athletic performance piece of that. So one way to get around this inevitable metabolic slowdown as you go deeper into a diet and you progress is to employ a diet break, which is something where you basically stop dieting for a while, right? You switch your focus to other things other than the weight loss. You focus on improving other metrics of fitness and health, right? So maybe you're going to focus on, well, now I want to focus on building a little bit more lean muscle. Maybe I want to focus on, increasing my strength in a particular lift, or maybe the big 3 compound lifts. Maybe I want to focus on that. Maybe I want to improve my performance in a 5K or a 10K. And so I want to focus on training for that. And so if I'm going to be training for that, I'm going to need fuel to fuel my performance. I can't be as focused on losing body fat because I'm trying to perform better. And so that would be the one. It's just different examples of how you could be employing this diet break. It also gives you the psychological break from having to always be so focused on counting the calories and making sure that you're hitting these right macronutrient ratios and all that at all times. Before you can effectively employ any sort of diet or do this diet break or reverse dieting effectively, you need to have first established a baseline, healthy, balanced diet with a proper macronutrient ratio for you and your body type. And this is what I cover in my Fat Loss Basics ebook, where I go over how to establish the right macronutrient ratio for you, because people talk about counting macros, right? But there's different macronutrient ratios. Some people are going to do better on a lower carbohydrate diet. Some people are going to feel better on a lower fat, higher carbohydrate diet. And again, I want to emphasize here that this is not about losing weight, right? This is about just establishing a healthy, balanced diet that you're going to maintain for the rest of your life, right? It's about, because regardless of whether you're trying to lose weight or not, you want to be eating a balanced diet with quality macronutrients in the right ratio for you that makes you feel and perform at your best, right? Because that's what it's ultimately all about. Weight loss or building muscle might be a short period or a short phase in your overall fitness and health journey, right? In the beginning, that might be your primary focus. But ultimately, we want to get off this diet roller coaster, achieve that weight loss, sustain it, and then you can go on to pursue other, fitness and health goals. Now, for some people, simply adopting more balanced eating habits and increasing their exercise will cause them to drop the body fat. In fact, I've had clients that lost 20 pounds of body weight without actually being in a strict fat loss sort of diet. And so it is indeed possible. Sometimes if somebody just eliminates pop or soda out of their diet, right, they will lose a bunch of weight, because it's about making these small little changes and sustaining them over time, right? And that is the advantage of establishing that baseline, right? The reason you want to have a balanced diet to begin with, before you start trying to lose body fat in earnest, is that it establishes a structure to your eating. Many people have no structure to their eating to begin with. They eat whatever, whenever, however they're feeling on any particular day. And what this typically looks like for many people is whatever tastes the best and is most palatable, which typically is sugary foods and processed carbohydrates, right? Which we all know are not the best for your metabolic health. They tend to cause you to make you to want to eat more, and to also more easily store body fat due to the rapid rise in insulin followed by the crash. All that insulin shuttles all the fat in the meal into your fat cells. Another mistake that a lot of people make when they try to go from eating the standard American diet to eating a healthier diet is to start eating more fruits and vegetables. And you're going to be thinking, well, wait a second, more fruits and vegetables is healthy, right? Isn't it? Well, yes, it is. Fruits and vegetables are healthy. However, they should not form the base of a healthy diet. Okay? So fruits and vegetables are good for supplying different fiber and micronutrients, right? And they are good, and fruits are a good alternative to get your sweet tooth in a more healthy manner that's actually going to be providing some benefits to your body versus just calories. In reality, the base of your diet, or the foundation of your diet, should be protein and moderate amounts of healthy fat. After that, you can put your vegetables and your fruits, and then on top of that, you can add starches and more refined forms of carbohydrates. The problem with cutting out meat and loading up on a lot of fruits and vegetables is that it does not provide enough protein to sustain muscle mass. Okay, so while it is true that you don't need a lot of protein to sustain your muscles, provided you're getting enough carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are a very anabolic sort of food, right? They stimulate insulin to a greater degree than most any other macronutrient. And so when you're in this anabolic state, your body is going to shuttle the protein that it needs. It's not needing as much protein because it has all the calories that it needs, and it's not in a starvation state. Now, when you are in a calorie deficit or the starvation state that is required for you to be losing body fat, your body doesn't have that anabolic environment. Instead, it's in a catabolic environment, meaning that you need to increase your protein intake because protein or muscle, the difference between building muscle, maintaining muscle, and losing muscle comes down to something called nitrogen balance. So you have to have a balance of nitrogen in the muscles, and nitrogen comes from increased from the protein that you eat, right? So if you're in a balanced if you're in nitrogen balance, you're going to maintain your muscle mass. If you're in a nitrogen surplus, along with strength training of the proper variety, you're going to increase your muscle mass. If you are in a nitrogen deficit, then you are going to decrease your muscle mass and start losing muscle. And so this is what usually happens with people when they're dieting, right? They just reduce the calories, and this is one of the problems I have with the Weight Watchers program. It simply focuses on calories, right? Devoid of where those calories are coming from, and not above and beyond that, even the quality of those macronutrients as well. So when you're in a calorie deficit, you need more protein. If you don't, and that's the thing, if you're getting the fruits and vegetables, those are great for just vitamin and mineral content, but they are carbohydrates. They are for energy for the body, not for building the body or sustaining muscle. And since you are trying to reduce your calories, and if you're giving yourself more energy stuff, but not enough energy substance, and also not enough protein, then your body is just going to extract the protein it needs from your muscles. And this is why people will end up as a smaller, but not leaner version of themselves. And the idea is that you want to lose body fat while maintaining the muscle that you have, which will allow you to see the definition in your muscles by doing that. And you can only do that by having the proper macronutrient ratios and building and structuring the base of your diet off of protein and then healthy fats. And healthy fats, the reason we do that is because they stimulate insulin less, they allow you to stay more full, and they provide benefits in terms of hormones. So a diet that has a little bit more fat in it it helps you maintain anabolic hormones a little bit better than a diet that is low in fat. Now, if your diet is super low in carbs or super low in fat, both of those are going to negatively hurt your sex hormones such as estrogen, testosterone, human growth hormone. Okay, so once you've established that structure and you found a macronutrient ratio and a calorie level, right? So I wouldn't count calories when you're just trying to find a healthy, balanced diet. What I do is focus on what you're eating, allow your body to dictate how much of those foods that you eat, right? So as long as you're eating the proper foods, your body will naturally find the right set point that it needs to maintain itself. Now, as I said before, oftentimes that is enough for the body to for you to lose some body fat, right? As you're eating in a more balanced manner, right? And you're balancing the hormones out, right? But sometimes it's not. Very frequently, it's not. And sometimes, so then you have to actually, figure out, okay, how many calories am I taking in per day? And as I've talked about in other videos, how you do that is not by looking at a calorie calculator online, but to just figure out how many calories you're eating for a week. So track every single thing that you eat and drink for an entire week. Then add up all the calories, all the macronutrients, and that is your baseline metabolic rate. From there, you can then reduce that by 10 to 20% and then try to sustain that over time. So the logical place that we want to start reducing calories from first would be from carbohydrates. Not because carbohydrates are bad, but because carbohydrates are not essential to the body, because you don't have essential carbohydrates. You have essential fatty acids and you have essential amino acids, right? And the body can create ketones and stuff to provide energy for the body. And it can also pull from your body fat stores. But it's not going to be pulling from your body fat stores as long as it has adequate energy coming in through the diet, whether that be through fat or from carbohydrates. And this is actually why some people, if they're on a keto diet, they see some great results initially because their body hasn't transitioned to burning fat efficiently, right? But then once the body does transition to burning fat efficiently, if there's too many calories in the diet, whether it be from fat or from carbohydrates, your body's going to burn those instead of the fat on your body. Okay, so now that we've established that you want to first have that foundation of a healthy, balanced diet that makes you feel and perform at your best athletic-wise, and then the next stage, if you still need to lose body fat, would be to go on an actual fat loss diet, meaning that you're going to be on a calorie deficit, eating less than you are burning off in a day, whether that's through your basal metabolic rate and exercise, right? And then the logical place for the calorie deficit to come from primarily is from carbohydrates, right? So the first place you're going to be eliminating carbohydrates would be from simple sugars. Next thing would be from starches like breads and stuff like that. And the last place that you want to eliminate carbohydrates, and you probably won't need to eliminate them at all, is from things like vegetables. Vegetables can usually stay in your diet regardless of how low and how lean you're trying to get. So after you've done that, then the next thing would be, okay, now that we've decided, maybe we've been doing this for a while, we're in this calorie deficit, but now it's kind of plateaued a little bit. And now we want to take that diet break. Well, how do we do that? Well, the same way that you establish that structure to your diet, you want to maintain that structure. You don't want to just go to eating however you want after you've been on this diet. You still need to do it in a systematic, calculated way. Otherwise, you're just going to return back to square one. So how do we do this? Well, it's very simple. What you're going to do is that you're going to start by adding the carbohydrates, calories back into one of your meals per day. And I would recommend the biggest, whatever your biggest meal of the day is, adding them back at that meal, right? And then you let that ride for a week. And if you don't notice that you're gaining any weight from doing this, then you add carbohydrates back into another meal. Because recognize here the thing is that what is required to lose weight means that you have to go below baseline. Right? So adding calories back in doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to gain weight, right? It means that you're going to go back up to baseline. And so that's what we're trying to determine. We're trying to figure out what is your baseline level of calories to maintain your body weight. So then, after that week, if you haven't gained them, you're adding it back into another meal, and so on and so forth. You keep on adding calories back in until you reach the point where you start to increase your weight a little bit, at which point you dial back those calories just a little bit below that to the point where you're not gaining weight anymore. And this can allow you to then allow the body to come out of that starvation state so that your metabolism and everything can start getting back to normal again and revving up again. And then you can focus on your performance and, lifting bigger weights in the gym, performing more reps, running a faster, mile, whatever the case may be, and focusing on different aspects of your fitness and your health versus just the weight loss. And then after a period of time, you can go back into that fat loss stage again, and you'll probably have better results. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button below. If you would like to see more content related to this, then hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. And we will see you all next time for more health and fitness related information.